You might have seen images of the spider webs before, but you might not know that we have the original collection. Peter Witt was a scientist who became famous for giving psychoactive drugs to spiders and taking pictures of the webs that they spun under the influence of these various drugs. He did this research in the 1940s through the 1970s, so it began when there was much less science about the effects of drugs on the brain. The research started in 1948 when a scientist approached Dr. Witt, who had been studying drugs, about giving LSD to spiders because this scientist wanted to film the spiders, but they always spun their webs at 4 in the morning, and he wanted to know if the LSD would cause them to spin their webs earlier so he could film them easier. And after giving the LSD to the spiders, Dr. Witt noticed that the webs were drastically different, and this provided a measurable record of the behavior change caused by the drugs, which in 1948 did not exist yet. So Dr. Witt began a career of feeding drugs to spiders and documenting the ways that the webs changed. And he did this by injecting the spiders with sugar water or injecting flies with the drugs and then feeding the flies. Probably the most famous image is the caffeine web, which out of all of the drugs that the spiders took probably caused the most extreme change. Dr. Witt came from Europe to North Carolina to work at the North Carolina Department of Mental Health, and he became friends with 2 professors at Western in the 1970s. And when he retired, he decided to donate his collection to Western because he was friends with these 2 professors and he wanted the collection to stay in North Carolina. So this collection is one of the largest collections of spider literature in the entire world. There are over 150 books about spiders in various languages, published dating back to the 1700s. We also have hundreds of slides and original photo prints taken by Dr. Witt of the spider webs created under the influence of various drugs, including THC, LSD, mescaline, amphetamines, barbiturates, and of course, caffeine. The images became very famous, and they're one of the first visual depictions of the way psychoactive drugs can change the brain.